Welcome to Final Approach with Chris Gregory. I am a philomath who is somebody who loves to learn things. One of the things that I've learned is that everyone has a tale to tell and a lesson to teach. From pilots to farriers to musicians to authors and creators, I'm going to explore my interests while introducing you to some amazing people. Pre-flight is complete and we have clearance, so let's kick the tires and start the fires. Segev Lazarovitz, Israeli soldier and farrier with his Canadian wife Julia Lazarovitz, are a couple of Heartlanders that found each other here when they attended school in 2021. Their world has seen some drastic changes as they took their newlywed lives to Israel just a couple of weeks before Hamas attacked on October 7th of 2023. They are back in the Heartland for a week as they work on some advanced farrier skills, and I talked them into sitting down with me for this interview. Segev is a man of few words, but hearing it straight from an Israeli soldier that is still putting on his uniform every day gives us a little insight into what is happening in the Promised Land. It is also a story of the way that humans adapt to living wherever they may be. We are cleared for takeoff. Everybody, I'm with Segev Lazarovitz and Julia, is it Lazarovitz?
I guess technically it would be.
Okay, so did you change your name?
I did not, because in Canada, in Quebec, you have to keep your maiden name.
You have to?
Yeah, in Quebec, you have to.
What happens if you don't?
It's a whole process to change it. So
It's a process for everybody.
I think it's a process for
I think maybe you should tell a story, Segev. What do you think? Segev and Julia came to school in the Heartland in 2021.
Yes.
Met each other. It was love at first sight. What's really amazing is Julia's from Canada. Segev is an Israeli. Let's get your story. I tell you what, Segev, start, if you don't mind. Tell us where you're from, how old you are, how you became a horseshoer, all that.
So I'm Segev. I'm from Israel. I'm 27 years old. When I was 4, I saw the farrier in the ranch we were riding, showing horses. And since then, I knew I wanted to become a farrier. I worked toward it in my life. And after the army, I was able to come to Heartland in Missouri and start the process.
How did you hear about us, by the way?
Guy Karsh.
Guy Karsh. Yeah, he's been on this podcast, by the way. And in fact, you know what? His recording came out like right around the October 7th.
Mm.
And so there was a lot of people heard that just because he's Israeli. All right, so you were an Israeli soldier, and what did you do in the military?
Infantry. I was a sergeant in the infantry.
And how many years did you serve?
3 years.
And you did that because your combat arms, you had to do 3 years, right?
Everyone had to.
Oh, I thought it was 2 years if you were supply or something.
No, everyone 3 years.
Everyone 3 years. Okay. Julia, why don't you take the mic and tell us your story?
Don't know if it's as exciting as Segev's, but I'm Julia. I'm from Canada, Quebec, Canada. I've been involved in horses my whole life. Originally, I thought I would be a veterinarian, but I wanted something a bit more physical, a bit more challenging in a different way. And when I discovered horseshoeing, that was it. It's a combination of scientific knowledge and the physical aspect. And it's a continual learning process. I will learn until the day I die.
Yes. And you know what? So here's what happens. I can tell you as an old man is you will continue to learn throughout your career, but at a certain point, your body will quit cooperating. You're going to have like this sweet spot when you're 35 to 45. And your body will let you, and you know enough, and you can do really good. And then your body starts saying, nope, no more horses today. And your mind's saying, we can just do one more. We always did one more.
Yeah, I'm hoping to just push it as far as I can.
Oh, by the way, Segev became a journeyman the same year he came to school. That was kind of incredible.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. So looking back at that, it seems kind of hard to do, huh?
It was very difficult. I practiced a lot, and with you and Cody guidance, I was able to make it.
Well, you always seem pretty calm. Like you never... Does he get excited, Julia?
I think one time on a final horse at Heartland, the final horse that he passed on, which was a draft, I remember he got very anxious. He came running up asking for help.
I don't remember that. Your journeyman, you just rolled through it like it was nothing.
I don't know about that. I did okay, I think.
Now, did you grow up an athlete? Did you play sports?
I played ice hockey for many years.
Ice hockey?
Yeah.
Is there like 3 people in Israel that play ice hockey?
Something like that, yeah. And then I did Muay Thai.
Now, do you feel that that's why you were attracted to a Canadian, is the ice hockey?
Maybe.
I think the best part of that is I do not skate.
So you were more involved in desert sports, huh?
Yeah. We're a good combination.
So you had a sports background to give you some mental game edge.
I did do some blacksmithing before, but at a very low level. Maybe it did help me a little bit with the coke fire.
But not much with the horseshoe, like the horses itself, not until you got here.
No, I did not touch, as a horseshoeing aspect, I did not touch horses. We did had horses, and I did ride horses and trained horses.
Also, your dad is a gifted saddle maker. So I'm going to probably post a picture with this podcast. They brought a leather-bound Bible that Alan, which is Segev's dad, made. And incredible. Can you work leather like that?
I do not.
Do you at all?
A little bit. I want to learn more. It just take a lot of patience.
That's true. So you were in the 24-week program and the blacksmith course.
I was, yes.
And Julia, what was your program?
Originally, I wanted to come for 8 weeks. And then as soon as I got here, I think within 2 days, I went up to you and said, I need to stay longer.
Now, was this because of the horseshoeing or because of the Israeli?
Well, let's say the horseshoeing. All right, let's stick with that story. But once you get here, I mean, I think the ideal program is the 24-week for sure. If I would have been here earlier, that would have been the one I would have stuck with. But the 16 was great.
And you got certified, and now we're going for the journeyman, huh?
I'm on the journey to journeyman. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going pretty good.
It is going. It's going.
So now, what's very interesting to me, and what's going to be really interesting to the people out there, is what's going on in Israel.
Oh, it's complicated.
Well, that's okay. We got time.
It's started again, a more correct way to say, on the 7th of October,
2023,
when Hamas, that is a terrorist organization in Gaza, they attacked. They not only attack, they attack all the time, but they passed into Israeli border.
So before this, there's always been skirmishes and that sort of thing. But this was one where it was a organized, full-scale invasion, right?
Invasion, yes, correct.
Now, as an infantry sergeant, had you led soldiers in the Gaza Strip?
Not into Gaza, but we were on the border on Gaza.
And had you ever been in a firefight with the Hamas before?
No.
Okay. So they did an invasion, and then
they murdered, raped more than 2,000 people. They kidnapped, I think, more than 200 into Gaza. And since then, there are a lot of forces inside Gaza trying to retrieve the kidnapped and also collapse the Hamas organization.
And how is it going?
I think, from what I know, in the first few months, they did a lot of progress inside Gaza. They managed to clear a lot of the small cities inside Gaza. I think now they are stalling the situation. They are just staying inside and maintaining the same situation so they can now act in Lebanon.
Okay. And so now Lebanon is a little bit more frightening for you guys, right?
It's very frightening, yeah.
You guys live in the Golan Heights and you're like a mile from the Syrian border. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And so you were telling me you'd be shooting horses and bombs are going off and you just keep shooting horses.
Yeah, the horses doesn't seem to bother too much.
It's the real definition of a bomb-proof horse. It's been wild. We moved there 2 weeks before the war. We were in Canada before.
Right.
And we moved there 2 weeks before the war started.
Now, I thought you guys were going to stay in Canada. What happened?
I think we had more opportunity in Israel. Segev's family was there. We're very close with his family. Close with mine too, but in a different way. Really, the cold, I think it's very hard to do our job in the cold.
Especially if you grew up as an Israeli, huh?
Yeah, for Segev, it was very difficult.
Now, you can pretend he's not here. Are you glad you gone to Israel?
I think it's a mixed response. Yes, because I love the people. I love the climate. The horses, there's a lot of horses to shoe. You shoe all year round. There's no winter. But obviously, with the war going on,
So you didn't have a lot of bombs going off in Quebec, huh?
no, there was none.
Is Syria a threat to Israel?
It is, because there are a lot of Iran proxies inside. I don't want to say the exact number, but there's hundreds of thousands,
Oh my gosh.
of Iran proxies just waiting to do something.
Tell me, what is an Iran proxy?
It's a group that Iran,
So would this be Hezbollah? Would Hezbollah be an Iran proxy?
yes, of course,
Okay, and Hamas?
yes,
All right, so these are terrorist groups supported by Iran.
yes.
And Hezbollah is the one that we hear about. We hear about Hamas and Hezbollah, and that's like all we hear about. But there's more.
In Syria, there's a lot because they had a civil war a few years ago. I think the main one is Hezbollah, Hamas, ISIS, but I'm not sure. These are the big ones, I think.
And once this broke out on October 7th, you were put back on active duty, huh?
I was on the 7th of October, I was called.
And your mom was, and your dad was?
No, because they are above 50, I think, or 45.
So a certain age, they don't have to.
No.
Aren't they still serving? I thought your dad was...
No, he just, he helped in the village. He was in charge of the security, but he volunteered. It's not something he had to do.
Okay, all right. Do you have a sister?
Yes.
Was she recalled as well?
No, mostly combat and logistic or combat support.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting here at the end of September 2024, so it is just about a week shy of 1 year. Since that time, how often have you been having to go on watch or on patrol or go with your unit?
Every day?
Every day?
Yes.
You shoot horses in the morning and then report to active duty at noon?
Correct.
No kidding.
I mean, not just noon. Sometimes it's all hours. I mean, you can
So
be...
they call.
Yeah, and they have shifts, and he can be midnight to 3 doing military things, and then 7 in the morning, I pick him up and we go shoot some horses.
That's pretty surreal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a
Well,
different life.
Well, your dad sent me a picture of you shooting horses in battle dress uniform. We call it BDUs. Do you often shoot in uniform?
I do sometimes when I don't have time to change.
And so, do you have your own M16 or your own combat rifle?
Correct. Yes.
And you have your rounds, and you keep it with you. And
yeah, in the car, I have a vest and a helmet and everything.
yeah, because when we toured Jerusalem, I thought it was amazing. All these young Israelis walking around with M16s over their shoulders, boys and girls alike. And I didn't feel unsafe. You know, I thought that's, in fact, if I were running for political office in the U.S., having every youngster become a soldier, I think would do a lot of good for our country. What are your thoughts? What's going to happen?
It's very hard to say. It's very hard to talk about it because I really care about Israel and I love the country and living there. So it's very hard to talk about it and think what will happen because there's no good solution to the situation. They will always come after us.
Like Israel itself, I think is the country I felt the most safe in. Children can grab a ride from anyone. You see 8-year-old girls getting in, like hitchhiking. It's completely safe. It's an amazing country. It's just the surrounding countries are not friendly. That's where the problem is.
And also, Israel is tiny.
Israel is so small. I think it's smaller than...
It's like Connecticut or something.
Yeah.
You just tap that dog and it bites, huh? It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
I should probably have looked this up before I started this interview, but when we were there, we had supper at the Sea of Galilee and looked at Capernaum and all that. And the next day we were at the Dead Sea and, and looking at Masada and all that. The tour happened so fast and Jerusalem was like right there. It was uncanny to me how small it really was from an American perspective or Canadian perspective, especially.
Long, it's 6 hours drive, and wide is 2 hours drive.
Okay, all right. That'd probably be about right. So we'd be looking at 350 miles by 100 miles or something. And inside of that, the Palestinian states. So if you look at the Gaza Strip and then the big Palestinian state that kind of comes around Jerusalem right there, what is that called?
West Bank.
West Bank. Okay, I thought so, but I didn't want to sound dumb. So, is there a lot of bad guys in the West Bank as well?
Yes. Actually, most of the conflict now is also in the West Bank.
So, are you guys fighting in the West Bank,
Yes.
but not to the point as you did in Gaza?
It's different because in the West Bank there are Jewish villages and Arabic villages.
There are Jewish villages inside the West Bank itself?
Yes, we have a client there too.
So you guys drive through Palestinian territory to get to your client?
It's not Palestinian, it's the West Bank.
All right. So, so tell me what that means.
There are 3 types of land in Israel.
Okay.
I don't remember if it's ABC or CBA, what I'm about to tell you, but the same principle. So you have, let's say, A, which is Israeli land, which controlled by Israeli government and the Israeli army and police.
And that's where you live.
Correct. And you have B, which is the West Bank. It's controlled by Israeli government and police and army, but the Arabic villages have their own municipal institutions. So they have like their own tax institution and all that.
So when we were driving around, you know how a prison looks in America, where you have the big tall walls and the electric fences and the towers. And so we were driving, and it looked like we were driving by this massive prison. And Guy Karsh was our tour guide, and he said, "Oh no, that's just Palestinian."
So that's land C, let's call it, and that's controlled by Palestinian everything.
But that is not West Bank.
No, it may be inside the West Bank, but it's not the West Bank.
Okay. When you guys drive to your customer that is in an Israeli village inside the West Bank, do you get a little nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
You wear your uniform to that trip?
I do, because if something happens, I want to be recognized and they will not think I'm the terrorist. So I will wear the uniform to be recognized.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so being a mile from the Syrian border, have you guys had bombs land in the backyard?
Yes, we had yesterday a drone above our village, and it got intercepted and fell, and there was a fire.
We also have many bombs that fell recently and destroyed a lot of agriculture land around our area.
A lot of fires happened this summer.
So there's definitely bombs that get in, and if hopefully they don't hit a village that we live in, but they can hit land that just catches on fire and burns, and then people have hard times with their livestock and horses, and yeah.
Wow.
One of our clients had horses got hit by a bomb, and some burned, some had
shrapnel.
Yeah.
Holy cow! What a world you guys are living in. Are you keeping a diary?
Actually, it would be a good idea to keep a diary. Probably the closest I get are the messages I send my friends about what happened today or what we saw today.
And I do watch your YouTube channel. Why don't you tell people about that?
Well, the YouTube channel is pretty small, but I have hopes to expand it. We do a lot of Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff.
And it's Mountain Steel.
Mountain Steel, Smith and Farrier.
What mountain are you referring to?
Surprisingly, Israel does have mountains. So.
No, I know, but they're not like Canadian mountains.
They are definitely not like Canadian mountains.
The Mount of Olives or something.
I guess it's like the hill, but it's okay. It's a mountain to us.
I do watch your posts every time I get a chance, and you know we feel connected to you guys, obviously, and we're huge supporters of Israel. Are you guys planning on a family? Are you going to bring a family into this?
I'd say at this point in time, we're just going to be holding off a little bit. I think we need some stability in the country. And since we just moved too, we set up a whole new business. We were in Canada for 2 years, and then we moved, and you know how it is.
You're busy by now, though, aren't you?
We're busy, but we're 2 farriers, so we can take clients.
So you can take more.
We can take more, everyone.
If you guys do have a baby, you need to stage some pictures of you guys finding a baby in a bomb crater for them to find when they turn 20 or something.
Yeah, this is the origin story of you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about shoeing in Israel. What can you charge to shoe a horse in Israel?
Where we live, it's more like the country area.
rural.
So we charge 500 shekels plus taxes.
500 shekels is how many dollars, do you know?
I think it's 135.
Oh, well, that's pretty decent wages.
In the center, you can charge almost double.
So 1,000 shekels.
Yes.
And that's like 20 minutes, so why not go down there?
It's about a 3-hour drive.
Okay, all right.
And there's traffic. And
at 500 shekels, what does it cost to have a house or rent a property or something?
yeah, I think renting a house is between 3,000 shekels to 4,000 shekels. A big house.
If you're getting 500, you can pay your rent with 6 horses. So that's okay, huh? And the food in Israel was just unreal, huh? What do you think about that, being from Canada?
Wow, the produce and the vegetables and the fruits and the cuisine is amazing.
It's like it was grown in the promised land.
Almost.
I was astounded. I had heard that before. And even if you're driving down a trashy street, the amount of flowers and the amount of stuff that's growing is just, it's kind of unreal, huh?
Yeah, it's beautiful. And just everyone has citrus trees or mango trees or really everything. It's amazing. You can grow anything there.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible. We should talk a little bit about your dad, though. His saddle making, is he able to make a living in Israel making saddles?
Yeah, he's making saddles, he fixing saddles, he making all the accessories, and he's doing pretty well.
He probably has a big business by looking at I've never seen one in real life other than that Bible, but the saddles he puts on Facebook. What does he get for a saddle?
I think 20,000 shekels.
500 shekels, 135, so
like 5 or 6,000.
5 or 6,000. Holy cow. And is he booked up with orders?
Yeah. The main problem is the trees. He ordered them from the US and they are short on staff and it's taken them a long time to make them.
So he has all the stuff he needs other than the saddle tree.
And the leather. That also...
Oh, leather's a problem.
Yeah. So he ordered them from the US and it's taken them about 2 to 3 months to make the trees. And then the shipment take another 2 months. What's special about my father that he make a saddle specifically for a horse. So a client call him, he measure the horse for the tree, and then he order the tree, and they make the tree specifically for that horse.
Wow. So it's really custom to the max.
Yeah.
And then you got to always buy a horse that's that size, huh?
That's the problem I'm facing now. My horse got blind, so she's retired, and now I need to look for a horse that will fit my saddle.
You know, you might have a look at my horse in case she fits your saddle. Have you ever made a saddle, Segev?
Not yet.
Not yet. You're going to?
We plan actually on learning this winter. We plan on getting a tree each, and we'll learn how to make them. And maybe eventually when our bodies give out, it will be a nice segue into something else.
Yes. Yeah. My hands are giving out. And so I can tell you that's a real sad thing because tool and leather hurts a lot more. Playing guitar, typing, all the stuff that should be easy no longer is as easy as it once was. So don't wait.
Everything fun requires some physical effort.
Well, everybody's body gives out. Even the people that sit in an office, their body gives out. And so you might as well do something you really love doing, huh?
Yeah, I agree.
I can't thank you enough for coming back to the Heartland for this advanced class. It's done our hearts good to see you. We pray about you guys often. Consider you guys great friends of the Heartland. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll be back often. We love it here. So.
My son Cody has always had a mind that works in an engineering mechanical way that allows him to solve problems that some people, like me, don't even know exist. His fuller is a perfect example. I've been making shoes since 1990 and have used just about every type of creaser there is out there. Some drive well, some don't, but to me they were all pieces of metal on a handle with an end to hit and a sharp end to make the crease. Cody started playing around with the geometry and heat treating of his fullers, and it was amazing how I can crease with one of his tools with a lot less effort. It takes 3 passes with another brand, Cody's will make it in 2. Well, I don't know how he did it, but I do know that his tools work with precision and accuracy that many others don't, allowing me to do a better job because they have a quality that I can count on. From his punches to his tongs, you'll not find a better tool to make your life as a farrier easier. Check out his line of tools at CodyGregoryLLC.com.